Hey everybody, welcome back to Vedic Sage. I'm Dr. Taliwal, and today we're going to be taking a look at dysmenorrhea, or painful menstruation, from an Ayurvedic perspective. Now, Ayurveda looks at this condition as being heavily influenced by three primary factors, being Vata, Pitta, and Kapha dosha. For example, Vata dosha can come and influence the uterus by the vasoconstricting actions either on the blood vessels, reducing blood supply, and therefore giving that cramping sensation associated with Vata type dysmenorrhea. Likewise, the elements or qualities of Vata can lead to the constriction or lack of dilatation of the cervix as the uterus is trying to pass the blood clots of menstruation, and because of that tight cervix, this can lead to excruciating pain that's often associated with Vata type individuals. In the same manner, Pitta can also influence the uterus or the endometrial lining, creating signs and symptoms of endometritis, which is associated with burning sensation with the menstrual cycle. And also the Kapha influence, the heavy and dull qualities of Kapha, can give the boggy or bulky sensation along with the dull and aching sensation associated with Kapha individuals or Kapha type dysmenorrhea. So we'll take a closer look at each of these doshas and see how it affects the menstrual cycle. So we'll start off with Vata dosha, and we know that Vata dosha is made up of the two primary elements, ether and air, to create the Vata dosha, which is the expression of certain qualities such as dry, light, rough, cold, mobile, and subtle. And the qualities of Vata can accumulate and get aggravated by certain factors such as dietary, lifestyle, and psychological, emotional factors of the mind can influence any of the qualities of the doshas. For example, the dry and rough qualities of raw food can actually provoke Vata dosha and can express itself as being a Vata imbalance, for example, the uterus or Vata type dysmenorrhea. Certain lifestyles can also provoke the doshas. For example, excessive activity for Vata individuals, which already has innately high energy and movement, so these individuals would want to have more rest and relaxation. And certain psychological factors such as unresolved fears and anxiety can also influence Vata dosha. Now, from an Ayurvedic perspective, they talk about sampratipathy, which is actually the pathogenesis of how disease takes place or originates. And from an Ayurvedic perspective, they say that the accumulation and the aggravation of Vata dosha, or the qualities of Vata, begin in the colon. And as these qualities accumulate, they can spread into the generalized circulation and affect certain tissue, such as the uterus. So once the qualities of Vata enter into the uterus, that vasoconstricting action can lead to vasoconstriction of the vessels within the uterus, and therefore, because of the diminished blood supply, can lead to a cramping type of pain within the uterus. Likewise, if the cervix remains tight due to the excessive Vata qualities, as the blood clots are trying to pass from the uterus out through the cervix and past as the menstrual flow, because of that tight cervical os, this can lead to excruciating pain as the blood clot is trying to pass through. Other associated factors with Vata type dysmenorrhea is constipation, bloating, lower back pain, and the unresolved anxiety and fear that we briefly talked about. Therefore, the management of Vata type dysmenorrhea is centered around pacifying these qualities. So therefore, we can consider an oil massage known as Abhyanga in Ayurveda, which will help to pacify these doshas, and we would use medicated oils such as Nirgundi or Mahanarayan oil, and they would rub it on the pelvic and lower back regions, which will help to pacify Vata dosha. Another interesting consideration to balance Vata dosha is a hot steam bath, and we can consider certain herbs beginning 15 days prior to the menstrual flow, certain herbs such as Dashamula, Ashwagandha, Musta, Tagara, and Yogaraj Gugalu. These herbs will help to pacify the Vata dosha and therefore reduce the pain that's associated with menstruation or the Vata type dysmenorrhea. Another consideration for Vata type individuals is once the blood flow has stopped with cessation of menstruation, we would want to consider an enema with an herbal concoction, for example Dashamula, which will help to pacify the qualities that can accumulate within the colon. Now we'll talk about Pitta type dysmenorrhea, and we know that Pitta is made up of fire and water and has the qualities of hot, sharp, light, liquid, mobile, and oily. So these qualities generally build up and accumulate within the small intestines, and as these qualities accumulate, they can spread into the generalized circulation and ultimately affect certain parts of the body, for example the uterus. So therefore these individuals would have irritation or inflammation upon the lining or the endometrial lining, and therefore can be associated with a burning type of pain with menstruation. So certain factors can influence the Pitta dosha. For example, the dietary, lifestyle, and the psychological, emotional factors of the mind can influence the qualities of Pitta, such as foods that are hot and spicy, sour and citrus foods can provoke Pitta. Certain lifestyles, the overachieving, motivated, type A lifestyle can also aggravate Pitta dosha, and of course the emotions of the mind, such as the unresolved judgment or anger, is thought to provoke Pitta dosha and therefore can express itself in the body with other associated signs and symptoms of Pitta dosha. For example, hives, rash, urticaria, eczema, or the individual may even break out with acne. Therefore, the management of Pitta type dysmenorrhea is centered around cooling that fire element within Pitta dosha. Therefore, we would want to consider an oil massage with cooling oils such as coconut and sunflower oil, which helps to cool the Pitta individual. Another consideration is taking a bath with baking soda, not baking powder, but baking soda, to help cool the fire element of Pitta dosha. Now, certain herbs to consider roughly 15 days prior to the beginning of the bleeding cycle would be certain herbs that are cooling in nature, such as shatavari, guduchi, kamaduda, and ashoka. These herbs are cooling in nature and therefore are beneficial for Pitta type dysmenorrhea. Now, after the cessation of bleeding, or once the menstrual flow has stopped, we would want to consider detoxifying the small intestines with a purgative such as Bhumi Amalaki. So therefore, one may want to consider 1 teaspoon of Bhumi Amalaki to help detoxify the Pitta qualities within the small intestines. Now we'll talk about Kapha type dysmenorrhea, and we know that Kapha is made up of water and earth and has the qualities of heavy, dense, slow, cold, oily, liquid, and dull. So these qualities generally are thought to accumulate within the stomach of the GI system, and once these qualities accumulate and get aggravated, they can lead into the general circulation and affect certain parts of the body, for example the uterus. Other associated findings due to the excessive water element would be water retention or swelling or generalized swelling or weight gain. Therefore, management would be centered around a heating element, so therefore we would consider an oil massage with medicated oils that are heating in nature, such as chitrak or trikatu. Likewise, you may even want to consider a warm or hot bath with even adding ginger powder to the bath. This will help to generate that heating quality to balance Kapha dosha. Likewise, certain heating herbs that we can use to balance Kapha dosha are Punarnava, Kutki, Shilajit, and Chitrak. These herbs will help to balance the Kapha dosha and help manage Kapha type dysmenorrhea. Now, once the menstrual cycle has stopped or the cessation of bleeding, Kapha individuals want to implement the light qualities to oppose the heavy and dull qualities, for example, adding increased physical activity or an exercise regimen, as well as a diet that's consisting more of a light, pacifying diet. So this was just an overview to see how the doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha, influence the menstrual cycle and see how, from an Ayurvedic perspective, to manage dysmenorrhea or painful menstruation. I hope this has been helpful, and until next time, take good care.